Hi there YouTube drum people, thanks for watching this lesson. This is actually the very first lesson. It's going to be the first in a series that I'm going to keep adding lessons to over coming weeks, months, years. If people watch them and are still interested in me doing them, I will continue to do these lessons. This first lesson is basically absolute beginners. Alright, so we're going to start completely from scratch. We're going to assume you know nothing about drums, nothing about drumsticks, never played the drums before. And we're going to work through my drum tuition books. I've written 3 books, level 1, level 2, level 3. We're going to start today with some of the lessons from level 1, or the first lesson from level 1, which again is basically aimed at complete beginners. This is what I use when I teach, because I teach in schools and I teach private lessons as well, and I work through these 2 or 3 books which kind of get you up to grade 3 level. So level 1 is for grade 1, level 2 is for grade 2, level 3 for grade 3, and so on. So if I was going to switch the screen over to the book, and I'll just show you a little bit about the book. So obviously we've got title page, a little bit of an introduction thing, and then the first lesson is covering the basics. So we're going to look at warming up, hitting the drum, and holding the sticks. And then I'm going to actually split this lesson into 2 parts. I'll get onto a little bit of basic note reading in the next lesson, so each video is not too long. I want to try and keep them around about, hopefully under the 10-minute mark, so they're kind of easy to watch and get through. And then at the back of the book there is quite a useful, if I can get all the way down there, a little reference section which goes through, if I'll do it this way, so you've got this sort of reference section which takes you through all the names of the drums and so on. Okay, I'm going to put a link in the comments so you can download a free copy of the book, because I'm very generous. So I'm just going to give this away for free. If you do want to order a copy, I will either put a link in the description or message me and I'll sort that out for you. It's not going to be much, it'll be about £4 or £5 to buy a paper copy of it, probably plus a little bit of postage. Which will come with a CD, but for now I'm just going to give it away, and you can download the book and the tracks, etc. for the CD. Okay, so let's just get back up to the top of the book, and if we look at, first of all, warming up, okay, which is the first section here. Obviously drumming is it's a physical activity, so you do want to warm up to a certain extent, depending on what you're gonna do, just to get yourself sort of limbered up and so on. Obviously, if you're going to go and do a big long gig somewhere, you want to do a little bit more warming up. But the first exercises that we'll look at in the next lesson are quite good warm-up exercises, just sort of practicing just some single stroke rolls and double stroke rolls, and just playing around the kit a little bit. So, you know, just make sure if you're a little bit cold, just get warmed up, get your hands moving about. Even just shaking your hands around like that is a good way of getting started. Another good one actually is to hold your sticks that way round and kind of do that with both hands, just to get those wrists warmed up a little bit so you don't end up with any injuries. So all we're going to deal with today in this lesson is the correct way to hold the stick and the correct way to hold the drum. Now, you don't want to get too bogged down with technique. At the same time, you don't want to have really bad technique. There are some brilliant drummers out there who probably have quite bad technique, but you generally don't find that, you know, just because you've got good technique, it won't necessarily make you a brilliant drummer. So it's getting the balance right, and if you kind of start with following the few little tips I'm going to give you today right from day one, then technique wise you should be absolutely fine. If you look at drummers like Keith Moon, okay, an amazing drummer, has really bad technique in my opinion. So, you know, don't get too up on it, but it's an important part as well. So, holding the stick. Our aim really is for the drumstick to actually do the work, some of the work for us, because it's going to rebound up off the drums. Okay, so what we don't want to do is, you don't want to hold the stick right at the end, because it actually makes the stick feel quite heavy and it won't rebound as well. If I just drop this stick on and holding it right from the end, okay, we get a little bit of a bounce, but not as much as we would like. If I hold it at the point where we should hold it, the point where the stick is balanced, which is about there, and do exactly the same thing, okay, you can see the stick's just springing straight back up like that. So we want to be holding the stick at the point where it's balanced. Every stick is slightly different, but usually it's around about there, okay, about a third of the way up. Now I play and I teach using matched grip, which is basically where both hands do the same grip. So what I'm going to do, to build that grip up, we're just going to hold the stick with the thumb and first finger like that, okay, between those two, and it wants to be able to move around. You're holding it quite tight, but it wants to be able to move a little bit. These three fingers, we're going to just curl round like that, okay, not squeezing really tight, it's loose, okay, so hopefully if you can see as I'm doing that, my stick is actually moving around in my hand. You see those fingers are fairly loose, because if you grip it really tight, the stick's not going to rebound, it's not going to come back up off the drum. And you always want to make sure you've got a little bit poking out the back of your hand there like that. Okay, so it's quite a loose grip, and we're going to do exactly the same thing with the other hand, so both hands are holding the sticks the same. Now as we hit the drum, we're going to bend from your wrist, okay, not from your elbow, not from your shoulder. So bending from the wrist, because as soon as you bend from your elbow, your stick's got to travel all this distance, okay, before it hits the drum, makes contact, and that's kind of unnecessary movement. Obviously when we're moving around the toms, we're going to have to do some arm movements, but again the main hits are going to come from the wrist. And as well, that's going to enable us to drum faster and also longer, because we're using small muscles, okay? Small muscles will work faster, they won't get as tired as quick as big muscles, so we're going to play from the wrist. So once we've got our grip, we just kind of hold the sticks over the snare drum like that, and we're going to kind of make a little bit of an arrow shape. If you imagine that's a clock, it's kind of roughly 20 to 4 position. And then as we hit, we want the stick to bounce straight back up off the drum like that. Okay, we're not kind of slamming it down into the drum like that. Okay, for the purpose of this, I'm not going to have the proper audio for the drums, just so you can hear it. On the next videos, I'll switch over to the proper audio. So now it's going to sound a little bit weird because I've not got the drum sounds on. But all we want to practice for now is starting point sort of there, a few centimetres above the drum. We're going to bend the wrist, bring it back, we're going to hit the drum, and we're going to kind of practice two different ways. We can get it back to the starting point there, and we can also practice going all the way back like that. So all you want to be doing for now is just right, left, right, left. Okay, making sure that stick is bouncing up off the drum. Okay, so we're not doing this. Okay, you want to be really, really relaxed, nice and loose sticks, and then we can practice going round, you know, like 4, just going round the kit, and then just practice getting a little bit faster. Okay, making sure all those hits are even, so we're not getting kind of that sort of sound. It wants to be even spacing between each hit. And if you can also get used to counting at this stage, okay, counting is really, really important, okay, when we're drumming. Just practice counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 as we hit the drum. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, going around the drums. Just get into the habit of doing that, and you'll see why that becomes more and more important as we get through future lessons. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm going to cover in this lesson. We're going to look in the next lesson at a few of the basic notes that we would need for drumming. We're going to look at quarter notes, eighth notes and 16th notes, and practice a few exercises with those using what's called a single stroke roll. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you've got any suggestions as well for any future videos that you might want me to cover, like I say, I'm going to work through all of my books. I'm also going to do some tutorials on the Rock School exam songs, so keep an eye out on the channel for those appearing over future weeks. Like I say, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. Hopefully this video has been useful for you. If you liked it, give it a like, give the channel a subscribe so you keep updated with future videos, and I'll see you on the next one.